The Pittsburgh Steelers have officially hired a new offensive coordinator. So, we all know midway through last season, the Steelers fired Matt Canada and promoted Eddie Faulkner and Mike Sullivan to the interim offense coordinator job. But then Mike Tomlin, after the season, said they're going to be looking at outside options and not sticking with one of those two. So, after a search that took a few weeks, the Steelers only interviewed a few guys, and Arthur Smith lands the job with the Steelers. So, Arthur Smith, he was a former Atlanta Falcons head coach from last season, and now he lands with the Pittsburgh Steelers as the OC. So, this is what Arthur Smith is all about, and what to expect from his playbook, and what to expect from his play calling. So, Arthur Smith, he actually interviewed for this position as OC on Sunday. And I guess they really liked his interview because not too long after, on Tuesday, he gets hired by the Steelers. So Smith, he's a run-minded coach, meaning that he is best known for his 2 years as the Tennessee Titans offense coordinator in 2019 and 2020. There, he led one of the league's most potent rushing attacks, second over that span in carries, yards, and yards per carry, while finishing first in rushing touchdowns. This was all with Derrick Henry at running back, and the Titans finished top 10 in scoring both years Arthur Smith was offense coordinator. So Smith, he is tabbed as the Falcons head coach for the 2021 season, and in 3 years in that role, Smith went 7-10 each of those 3 seasons. They never made the playoffs, and Atlanta collapsed down the stretch this past season, where they lost 4 of their last 5 games, and the last 2 was blowouts when trying to make the playoffs. So, even though the Falcons maintained their run-heavy approach, leading the league in attempts in 2022 and finishing third in 2023 this past season. So Smith, his success didn't follow from his hire in Tennessee. Twice Atlanta ranked 26th in points per game, so that really dropped a lot from the 10th place that they finished when he was in Tennessee, but that's as expected because he went from Derrick Henry to running backs with the Falcons, and he also went from a Tennessee team to a Falcons team, which is obviously a big difference. So in 2022, the Falcons finished 15th. His offense came under criticism for not really getting his top playmakers and top weapons enough kind of carries and touches. I'm talking about tight end Kyle Pitts and running back Bijan Robinson. The team really struggled to find a deep group of wide receivers. They couldn't really get Drake London involved either, someone who they really liked in the draft and picked early on. They just couldn't get their top playmakers the ball, it seemed like, other than the backups. It seems like all the backup players were getting more touches than the actual starters and supposed to be stars of the team. Like if you look at their tight end group, you look at Kyle Pitts, you would expect him to get more touches than the backup. But it seems like Jonnu Smith had more of an impact on the team than Kyle Pitts. And it also seemed like the backup running back sometimes would have more of an impact than the starter and even the backup wide receivers. So it seems like all the backups did better than the starters because he just couldn't get the players the touches and the playmakers the ball. So hopefully in Pittsburgh it's different. But like Pittsburgh, Atlanta struggled to find stability under center with 3 quarterbacks starting at least 4 games in each of the last 2 years. So under Arthur Smith, the Falcons kind of utilized a heavy personnel, a philosophy that could match what the Steelers really like to do, ideals of playing kind of bully ball and running the ball and establishing a strong running game. So Arthur Smith, he's 41 years old, and he is actually the son of FedEx founder Frederick Smith, who played college at football at a guard in North Carolina, where he was teammates with Willie Parker of the Steelers. And after spending a year as a graduate assistant for the Tar Heels, his NFL career began and his defensive quality control with Washington in 2007. He was hired by Tennessee in 2011, and he flipped to the offensive side of the ball there. So He served as the team's offensive line and tight ends coach before he was actually promoted to that OC job that I said he had in 2019. So this is kind of his background. Smith becomes only the second outside hire for the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator job since 2001. You always see the hire withins that the Steelers have done. You look at the hire from withins the Steelers have had at the offense coordinator position the past few years. You look at when they went from Todd Haley, they moved over and promoted Randy Fichtner, who was the quarterback's coach, to the OC job. And then after they fired him a few years later, they promoted from within again with Matt Canada, who was the offensive coordinator the past 3 years for the Steelers, basically 2.5, but he was quarterback's coach before that for 1 season. So they have been promoting from within the building for a long time now. So it's actually surprising they decided to go with an outside hire. But this could be good for the Steelers because you get a fresh new mind in the building and someone from experience as a head coach, experience as offense coordinator, and we all know Mike Tomlin said that the Steelers wanted that. They wanted to have a guy as the OC who has experience in this league. In his closing press conference, he said that, and that's what they wanted to do. Also, yesterday when Art Rooney was talking to the media, he said he expected for a new OC to be named really soon, and I guess he knew that they're going with Arthur Smith, and they really liked his interview, so that's why he said it, and that's who they officially go with. So looking at the interviews the Steelers have had at the OC position this offseason and who they kind of talked to, they didn't really talk to a lot of names. The names that they talked to were this. The Steelers interviewed Carolina Panthers offensive coordinator Thomas Brown and Houston's kind of quarterbacks coach Jerry Johnson. There was a report that they actually interviewed offensive coordinator for USC and former Arizona Cardinals head coach Cliff Kingsbury, but I really doubt that one. There was also a report that they interviewed Zach Robinson, but then he got hired by a different team. So I guess out of all those guys, they decided to go with Arthur Smith, and he's had production in this league. I'm not going to take that away from him, but that was back in 2019 and 2018. So since then, hasn't really had much success, and that's why he was fired from the Atlanta Falcons. Basically, he was fired because the Atlanta Falcons offense just couldn't do anything, and they were a really bad offense. He wasn't fired because of his job as a defensive coach at Atlanta. He was fired because of his job as an offense coach in Atlanta. So Atlanta moves on from him, and now the Steelers sign him the following season. So let's see what Arthur Smith could do, but this is kind of his background information, what he has come from, the teams and positions and kind of coaching duties he has done over his career, and what he could bring to the Steelers. So looking at another few things he could do for the Steelers, or what he likes to do. He likes to do some motion. He likes to kind of simplify the offense, have big personnel in. So with the Steelers, that's what they usually like to do the last few seasons. That's what they were doing. They were doing some motions. They were playing from a run-minded perspective and just a more in-depth rundown of his scheme. He does a lot of under center plays, a lot of play action, a lot of zone runs with little gap concepts. He does pre-snap motion, like I said. He does condensed formations. So hopefully the Steelers offense can evolve. We've always wanted the quarterback to do more under center when they're running the ball because it allows for more play action and a lot more fakes. If you're running the ball really well, and then you're faking off of it, it kind of helps your offense get going in the passing game and building off of your running game. So hopefully Arthur Smith is able to return to really what he does well as an offense coordinator like he did with Tennessee. Hopefully it was just that the head coach position was not for him in Atlanta, and he gets back to what he did well with Tennessee with the Pittsburgh Steelers this upcoming season. But it is official, the Steelers find their new guy at the OC position, and it is Arthur Smith. But let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on this hire. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think he could help this team? Or do you think it was a bad hire? Also, was there a different guy you wanted them to go out, like Kubiak? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on this hire with Arthur Smith as OC. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below as well if you like series content analysis reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications down below for the channel as well, so you can get notified whenever I post the next year's video. I post every single day, and I cover breaking news, and I do breakdowns like this, and also cover all the rumors and stuff like that. So turn on notifications for this channel, click the bell down below, and I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.